Hello everyone. In this session, we are briefly going to discuss about one of the core supervised machine learning algorithms, that is KNN, also called as K nearest neighbors. So before we begin with discussing about it, let's look at considering an example data for this exercise. So here I have considered different customers of a specific retail bank. So this is my train data. My train data comprises of xi and yi. So xi here is nothing but a vector of different variables like x1, x2 and x3. There are three different variables: age, income and credit score of different customers or individuals. So we have this yi which is loan default. So we are trying to create a machine learning model which will basically help predict any new customer that walks into the bank with an application, whether that customer is going to default his loan or not, right? Based upon the past historical data that we are already provided with in our train set. So this is our historical data. So whatever data that you are looking at is our historical data or past customer data, where we already have these labels of 0 and 1 present for different customers that we are trying to look at, right? So these are the labels. So 1 indicates that the customer is defaulted. 0 indicates that the customer is not defaulted. And we know that there are n different data points that are present in this complete data set here, right? So now any new customer or any new observation that we might look at will have specific values for x1, x2 and x3, and do not have any value for y, because that might be a future value, right? Because we do not know on the day when the customer actually applying for a bank loan, we do not know whether he is going to default that loan or not. So that's what our machine learning model should be able to predict, if that customer is going to default or not default the loan based upon different properties that this new customer has got, right? Whatever data that we have, right? So we are considering the whole data and consider only a couple of its variables like x1 and x2. So now I considered x1 and x2 here in this particular coordinate system here. So x1 is represented on x-axis, x2 is now represented on y-axis. So x1 was age and x2 was income. So for a better understanding, I only have considered 2 dimensions for now. We can expand this particular concept to any number of dimensions that we have within the data. So whenever I'm observing these data points, so these data points that you are currently observing are nothing but customers present in the data. So all these data points could be C1, C2, C3, C4 and so on till Cn. There are 2 different classes for your dependent variable, which is your loan default. Could either be 1 or 0. 1 indicates that the customer has defaulted the loan, 0 indicates that the customer has not defaulted the loan. From this, we can intuitively understand that these 2 clusters that you are observing clearly differentiate the properties of customers. Let's say that there is a new customer who walks into the store, and this particular point that I have drawn now is your C new, which is your new customer. We intuitively understand that this new customer does belong to a cluster or group where majority of these observations or majority of the customers in its neighborhood have loan default set as 1. Let's say that this is your new query point or test point. So this is your query point. Query point or a new customer, right? Query point is nothing but a new customer that we are trying to generate predictions for. From this, we understand that all the points surrounding this particular query point is again y equal to 0, and hence we can easily understand intuitively that this new query point has got more likelihood of being a non-defaulted customer. He's not going to default a specific loan that he's trying to apply for, right? So this is an intuition that we can gain from this particular diagram here. So what are we trying to do exactly here? So KNN is a distance based algorithm. You are just trying to calculate distance of every single data point with respect to this query point. So this is a query point, right? So this is a query point that we are investigating now. I calculate the distance of this query point with respect to every other data point that I have within this particular coordinate space. I calculate distance with every single other data point that I'm observing within this particular coordinate space. Now for all the distances that I have calculated, the distances could be d1, d2, d3, d4 and so on till dn. Now I rank order all these distances. I rank order all these distances in ascending order. So whatever distances that you might be observing in your rank ordered distances, I can call it as rank distances. The top 3 or top 4 or whatever it is, how many ever number of values that you are considering here. Let's say that I'm considering the value here as 3. The k value here is 3. So I collect the top 3 minimal distances from this query point. Intuitively, I also understand that these 3 are the data points. These 3 are the data points. These 3 red color data points are present within this neighborhood region of this query point, whose distances are minimal with respect to the query point. In these rank order distances, I observe that these three red color data points here are nothing but the minimal data points that I have observed. And hence we can conclude that within the neighborhood region of this query point, I observe these 3 different data points, all of which are y equal to 0. So the majority of these data points within the neighborhood region has y equal to 0. And I can assign this y equal to 0 to this new query point, a new customer here. That's how it works. So whatever y value or whatever y variable that we had here is categorical in nature. Since it is categorical in nature, we are considering a majority voting scheme in order to assign what the predicted label could be for a new customer or for a new query point here. What if the y value is numeric? What if your target variable or dependent variable is numeric in nature? Then I simply calculate the average of these 3 values and then assign that average value to this particular query point prediction, right? So whatever prediction that I'm assigning to this new query point will be nothing but the average y value of all these 3 data points that are present within the neighborhood region. So I believe we have intuitively understood on how KNN works internally. The very first thing that we are doing here is to choose the number of points to be present in the neighborhood region. So what is the value for k? K equal to 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 or whatever it is. So here in this particular diagram, I have considered k equal to 3. So obviously this solid circle that you are currently looking at is a neighborhood region for this query point. The green color circle that you are currently observing is your query point. So when k equal to 3, you are finding 3 nearest neighbors associated with this query point. And this solid circle indicates the neighborhood region for this query point. So we understand that there are 2 red points, 2 red triangles and 1 blue square. So whatever prediction that I'm trying to assign to this query point is nothing but the red triangle or red data point, right? Whatever label that this red triangle has got, I'm assigning the same label to this query point here. If I'm increasing the value of k equal to 3 to k equal to 5, then this becomes my neighborhood region now, right? So the dotted circle, the dotted outer circle that you are currently observing, here is a new neighborhood region when k is equal to 5. Now I observe more number of blue squares than that of red triangles. So I'm assigning this blue square as a label to this predicted or as the predicted label to this particular query point here. How do you choose this k value? What is the optimal k value that we need to determine is again another exercise that we are going to conduct in future. But for now, let's understand whatever k values that we are choosing here are completely odd numbers. So what if I consider k equal to 2 in this specific case? I come up with this neighborhood region now. Within this neighborhood region, both the data points that I'm observing are red triangles. So I simply go about updating this particular predicted label to a red triangle, right? Let's say that there is another square here, another blue square near to that particular query point. And now when k is equal to 2, this should be your neighborhood region. When k equal to 2, whatever circle that I have drawn here should be your neighborhood region, because in close proximity, I only observe this blue square and this red color triangle. So what does the algorithm choose now? We cannot go with majority voting, right? Because there is a tie. There is a tie situation. So one is for blue square and one is for red triangle. So what do we assign as a predicted label for this query point now? So the sklearn implementation generally assigns this predicted label at random. Randomly assigns it to be either blue square or red triangle. There's no hard and fast rule or logic there. Unless we explicitly state assign the label which is to close proximity of this query point in case of a tie. Let's say that the distance between this query point and this red triangle is probably 0.1. And the distance between this query point and this blue square is 0.18. So we now know that this red color data point is pretty close to this query point. We explicitly assign this as the predicted label for our new query point. So that's how it works internally. It's a simple 3-step process. Overall, the algorithm working functionality is a simple 3-step process. The first step is you choose a value for k, and now you try to assess or find the neighborhood region by calculating the distance from that query point with respect to all the other data points that are existing within the coordinate space. Rank order those distances, find the top k number of values or data points where distances are closest or distances are very close to this new query point. And whatever neighborhood region that you might come up with, you just try to calculate the mode or employ majority voting scheme for a classification setting and consider calculating the average of y values for all the data points that are existing within that neighborhood region in case of a regression setting. So it's a simple 3-step process, and we have tried to intuitively gain an understanding about it. And in the subsequent sessions, we are going to further understand about what k-nearest neighbors algorithm is, what is the inner working functionality of it. Okay, so that's all in this particular session, and thanks for watching.